It is time for your favorite Android podcast from the crew of blindandroidusers.com. Kick back and enjoy another fine episode from these Google fanboys as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello and welcome to episode 51 of the Blind Android Users podcast. I'm Ed Green and I'm joined today by my co-hosts Warren Carr, Austin Pinto and Doug Cameron. And this week it's all about Thanksgiving. We celebrated Thanksgiving in the US, of course, this week. And so this is all about giving thanks for the things in Android land we're thankful for. And we have some demonstrations from Warren. So he'll be demonstrating the Inware app. He'll be showing us how to fix a few troublesome things in the Google Assistant, and he'll be demonstrating the Inware app, which will tell you all about your phone's hardware. Well, it was Thanksgiving last week, obviously, and for people in the US. And all I have to say from the UK is you give thanks in the US is, you're welcome. You're welcome, Americans. It's great that after that regrettable incident on July the 4th, 1776, you are showing some gratitude at last. And we can get over that, can't we? We can move on from 1776. Warren, it was your Thanksgiving. How are you?
Glad to be here for Thanksgiving, and we give thanks. And like you said, Ed, we are thankful most especially in Android land too, because we have some goodies and all of that. But then going back to 1776, I think the most important thing here is that the red coat was banished. And thank goodness we are thankful, and hence the reason why we give thanks.
No,
Austin,
I think you give thanks for what we brought to you. That 1776 thing was a bit
Austin.
Unfortunate, a bit childish. Austin, how are you?
I'm absolutely fine. In Mumbai, it's very hot now. There's no winters this year, I think. The weather is just going up and down. So all things are good.
And what's happening in Alberta, Douglas?
Snow and ice and, all the stuff with winter that we all hate. So, Austin, do you want some of that snow that we got?
I think I'm going to fly to Alberta now. And you can come to Mumbai. Yeah, that is the
we had our snow on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning.
You mean you're not getting any of the rain?
We had a lot of rain, like the week before. That week was just rained out. It was just absolutely crazy. In my yard, still has, a bunch of the snow mixed with rain from the previous week. And it's just nasty. You don't want to go back there. It's like a muddy mix of ice and snow and, rain. It's just not a pretty sight.
It's cold and wet here as well. It felt to me like it might snow, but we just got squally rain in our faces instead.
Yeah. But, we're thankful, and we ate a lot of food and all of that. And then, but the goodness of Thanksgiving, though, is this thing has spilled out to other places too. Everybody enjoys Thanksgiving in one way or the other. And there we are, Black Friday.
Yeah, lots of Black Friday sales, all sorts of things discounted in Android land. I'm sure in the other jurisdictions as well as the UK. I noticed that one of the Realme phones had 40% off. I think the S21 Ultra has 20% off. All sorts of little things to go and look at in the Black Friday sales.
And the Flippy Boy, I'm talking about a Galaxy.
Oh, yes, the Foldy McFlip face. Yeah,
that
has
the Flippy Boy.
Off, I think.
The Flippy Boy, I think, is down to like $850 or something like that. So if you've been wanting to get that Flipper Flip, probably this may be the time to get that Flipper.
I think that's right. So why don't we all give thanks for something in Android land in this little Thanksgiving segment? Warren, what are you thankful for?
Let's see. There are so many things to be thankful for in Android land. For example, I am thankful especially that now I have Android 12. Of course, going back to last month when we had Android 12 drop on us. And I am also thankful for Talkback. And I am thankful for the thing that I'll be demonstrating later on, and that's the fixing of the assistant. If you're having some problems with your assistant, wherein the assistant is either chiming for you when you want it to, or when you try to say the magic word, and for some example, it is not giving you that result because your screen is unlocked and only would do so if your screen is shut off. So those are some of the things that we're thankful for, but most especially the fact that we can have this OS even on phones that are very cheap. I think it was yesterday or the day before, I'm not sure when that was, that I posted on our email forum that Samsung A02s from Walmart. I think that thing is going for $40, something you could get for your kid or whatever. And that's a prepaid phone from AT&T. And then there's the one from TrackPhone, A03 from Samsung for $99. This used to be $200 and whatever. So a lot of thankfulness going on. And so for Android, you don't have to break the bank or go stealing or robbing Paul to pay Peter in order to get a phone. So I am thankful that in Android, we can actually get to experience some phone goodness, whether I have less than $100 or I have over $1,000 to burn. So that thankfulness is there, and I'm most thankful for that.
Yeah, how about everyone else? Austin, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for CSR because it gives us an alternative screen reader to Talkback, and there are choices on Android. If you don't want Talkback, you can use CSR. I'm also thankful to the custom ROM developers community who make ROMs as fast as possible whenever new Android version releases. And I'm also thankful for the development of technology that we have. First, we used to have a phone with 256 MB or 512 MB of storage, and now we can even go to 1 TB of storage. So that is really amazing development in the past 11 years.
And let's face it, one of the other reasons to be thankful for CSR is it's another thing we can tease Warren about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's another thing that we can tease Warren about and have a fight. I think Warren's mystery desk is going to be filled up because of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Warren, anything is coming there?
Well, isn't it something though that, everybody's trying to throw this CSR in my face. But, I kept saying though, frankly, and I'm very thankful that we have CSR, and that's the goodness of Android. Like Austin says, something to be thankful for. If you do not like Talkback for some reason, at least we have another screen reader there, and which is supportive of just about every phone out there, except that some of those multi-finger gestures, as we have in Talkback, would only work if you have Android 11 or higher. So I am thankful that we have something like that, and I've always said that I wish we had not only 2, but 4 or 5 different screen readers on Android. And it would have been the case if the likes of Spiel and the Shine Pluses have not gone the way of the Dodo. Or else we would have actually had 4 screen readers. Just imagine having 4 screen readers on your phone and choosing each one at will, just as you will. I think that would be a wonderful thing, and I wish we have those too. But when it's all said and done, I am absolutely thankful that we have at least 2 screen readers on Android. And like you said, Austin, I like the fact that now we have big storages, because I've been the crybaby about this because I am the app junkie, like to install boatloads of apps. And so when I have only a 128 gig or miserable 64 gig phone, that's so puny, I don't even want to think about it. But now we have, even in Google has been very stingy. Google, I'm looking at you. You finally have come around, but that 512 gig Pixel 6 Pro that I'm still waiting on is not here yet. So, what's going on there?
Yeah, it's true.
I'm also thankful for the Pixel phones, because of which we can fight with Warren on every episode.
And we can think of other names for them, like Fisher Price.
And that's all from that knucklehead called Ed. You know, Jello's head.
They're not a hardware company, though, are they? Bless them. They do what they do very well if they stuck to their core mission, which is not hardware.
Well, we all know that they clearly don't use Gorilla Glass in their screens.
Well,
what about you?
The Pixel 6 though has the Victus, on both sides. I mean, 6 Pro rather. The 6 only has it in front, but not the back.
So it protects the front door, but not the back door, hey?
Oh yeah, because you can throw some things out the back door you don't want a neighbor to see. You know what I mean?
Excellent. Doug, what are you thankful for in Android land?
Well, I'm going to be the odd one out here, but I'd definitely say functional smartwatches. Got a lot of options, a lot of decent pricing, and even though there's a vast majority that still run the Wear OS 2, they all still work. So
yeah, it's true. And you've dabbled in the smartwatch market, haven't you, Warren?
It's nice that you brought that subject up, Doug, because absolutely. And again, it goes back to that you don't have to break the bank. If you don't want to spend too much money, you don't want to spend $300 or $400 on a watch, you could get something like what's that thing? The Tick watch is the E3, which is a very capable watch, and I saw that thing this Black Friday for $140. That's a steal. And so we have all those options out there, and if you don't want to get that, you could get an older version, which is not running Wear 4100. And so we are thankful that we have those opportunities out there, especially in the watch land, and meeting all price points. Whether you want something that's $6,000 from the Michael Kors and all of that, I don't know. Why would I be putting a $6,000, $6,000 on a watch? I don't know. But anyways, so that's the beauty of Android. Like we said, if you want something for $40 or you want something for $1,000 or whatever, it is there to meet all needs. And so we are indeed thankful for that, and people who want to experience the smartwatches could just go out there and get one of those things and call it good.
Exactly. And now, as of last week, the added bonus is Google has finally released some apps like YouTube Music to the Wear 2.0 version watches.
That's right, because when Samsung came up with the Wear OS 3, they kind of hog-tied everything. And now those things are being rolled out to other Wear OS powered devices. And next year, though, I think we're going to see a lot of adoption of the Wear OS 3. So especially watches that were released in the fall that, come running Wear OS 2, the Fossils and all of those guys will be able to upgrade. Even the Mopvoy guys, and I think the Mopvoy guys should have been given the first preference, because you know what, they are the ones that have been keeping Android Wear OS running, and I'm surprised that they didn't get that first place. Instead, it went to Samsung. But we're thankful for everything. We are to be thankful, right?
Any Mopvoys that are running the Wear 4100 will be getting Wear OS 3 probably starting anywhere from July onwards.
I wish it could have been sooner, though. That's kind of...
It would be nice, but,
I mean, let's say maybe in the spring, sometime by Google I.O. or something in somewhere in there, I think that would have been perfect. But of course,
it would be
all the logistics.
Yep. I think for me, I'm thankful for just some of the convenience and the apps that you have. So, you can check blood sugar using a phone without having to prick your finger anymore. You can have your sports score apps with some pretty custom notifications set, and just the whole range of convenience. All that stuff's on the internet, obviously, but having the app as the front end rather than having to do everything via Chrome, I think is good. I also think it's good that Android will, I don't use them particularly, but it will let you have devices that have been customized for seniors. So, I think Real Sam in your pocket just launched in the States not so long ago, which has the, it's a media device. I think it connects to Be My Eyes as well. A one button operation, modified Samsung X cover. You get your Synaptic type software, which is meant to wall guard your Android phone a little bit for those folks who can't cope with the screen reader. And just different devices. We demonstrated the Braille Sense 6 and other ways to access the Android device if you're not that happy with touch screen doing that. So I think it's great it offers that.
Indeed, Ed. So thankful that we could use Android on Braille devices, especially Braille displays that usually used to be something that was proprietary. And now we have the access to Android on those things, modernizing that device. So I'm so thankful that we have that. Yes, they're expensive. However, we kind of been noticing a little bit of a price drop in those things. It used to be those things maybe $6,000, $7,000, and nowadays you probably could find them for $4,000+. It's still very expensive, and I would rather want to see things like that right down in around $500 or $300. That would absolutely be the sweet spot. But that's what's going on. But I thank God that we do have access to Android on that. So if someone doesn't like the touch screen, for example, and is struggling, and we have a lot of people that struggle with the touch screen. Let's not even, downplay that. A lot of people out there that still have problems with the touch screen. But so when they have something of this nature, they are not only having a good time using their Braille device, but also in the same breath experiencing Android. So I think this is something that we absolutely are thankful for.
And I am, of course, thankful that proper hardware companies make phones and we're not reliant on awful pixels.
That's right. And that's the goodness about Android, though, because if you could get one good hardware or you could get a cheapy plastic, all that your money dictates, that's what you go for. And again, that goes back to that choice, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to turn now to some of Warren's demos. And first of all, Warren is going to show us the Inware app.
This is demonstrating Inware, I-N-W-A-R-E. Inware is an app that tells you information about your phone. In other words, if you want to know what your phone is comprised of or composed of, Inware will give you all of that information. I particularly like Inware because it is ad-free and has a very clean UI. I will be demonstrating Inware on an older device in the way of the Pixel XL from 2016. This is running Android 10 with Talkback 12.1. In the way of TTS engine, I'll be using the Sophie voice from the defunct Speak TTS. I am on my home screen and now navigating to find my icon for the app called Inware.
Inware.
There is Inware, and I'll tap.
Inware. Settings.
Upon tapping on Inware, we are placed directly on the Settings button found near the top right corner of the device. Below that are 2 rows or columns, and there are a total of 4 of these. So there's a left and right. I'll take you through what we have. The first item on the left.
System. Row 1, column 1, in grid. 4 rows, 2 columns.
We have System, and to the right of that,
Device, column 2.
now below System,
Hardware, row 2, column 1.
To the right,
Memory, column 2.
that is memory. Now below,
Camera, row 3, column 1.
camera, and to the right,
Network, column 2.
network. Let's scroll up. Below camera, we have,
Connectivity, row 4, column 1.
and to the right of that,
Battery, column 2.
and that's the last item. Before we go into some of these items, let's first go to the settings and see what we have in the settings. I will now navigate my way to the top right corner, find the settings button, and tap on it.
Settings, out of grid. Navigate up, button.
Tapping on settings, here are the items that we find.
General, security, clipboard and units, 1 of 5, and list, 5 items.
We have a total of 5 items in the settings, and the first one is security and clipboard. I will now tap here on the first item.
Security, 1 of 2, and list, 2 items.
So under security, we've got
Block screen capture, prevent the capture of screen content, off, switch, 2 of 2.
So you could turn that on or leave it off. It's up to you. Next,
Clipboard, 1 of 3, and list, 3 items.
under clipboard, we've got
Long press to copy, copy items values by long pressing them, on, switch, 2 of 3.
in other words, if I want to copy the battery information, for example, as we saw in the menu UI, all I needed to do is long press on the icon that says battery and it'll copy the information for that battery. Next,
Copy values with labels, include values labels when copying, on, switch, 3 of 3.
in other words, if this is on as it is on right now and I long press on that battery, for example, it would not only copy the information about the battery, but also copy the label as battery. I will now go back to the settings.
Navigation button.
Below security and clipboard, we've got
Inware, appearance, dark mode and colors, 2 of 5, and list, 5 items.
we've got appearance. In other words, if you want to change it to light color or dark color or gray color, whatever color it is that you prefer, this is where you go to change that appearance. Next, we have
Experimental, unreleased features, may be unstable, 3 of 5.
something here called experimental and maybe unstable. I'll tap here, see what that is all about.
Navigate up, button, out of list.
Here's what we've got in the experimental area.
Experimental. Battery, 1 of 2, and list, 2 items.
So we've got battery, and here's what it is that is experimental.
Detect battery capacity, may lead to unexpected behavior, off, switch, 2 of 2.
By default, this is turned off. In other words, if I leave this off, I will not know what the capacity of my battery is. In other words, I wouldn't know whether it's 3000 milliamp or whatever it is. So I will turn this on.
On.
Let's go back to the settings.
Navigation button.
The next item below the experimental one will be
Modules, manage downloadable modules, 4 of 5.
modules, and that's where we can go in and see if the developer has any modules that we can add to improve or enhance the usage of this app. I'll tap here and see what we have.
Navigate up, button, out of list.
Tapping on the modules, here's what we've got.
Modules. Installed, 1 of 2, and list, 2 items.
Under installed, that is installed modules, we've got
No modules installed, 2 of 2.
no modules installed. Let's keep going.
Available, 1 of 2, and list, 2 items.
That is available modules. And below that, let's see what we have available.
Media DRM, 2 of 2.
We have the media DRM, and that's all we have. Now to the right of that, we have a button that says,
Action button, button.
we have a button here that says Action Button, button. Now we could choose to label this button because tapping on this button installs a module and also uninstall an installed module. In other words, tapping on this will install a module, and after the module is installed, if I tap on it again, it will uninstall that module. So this button should have been labeled like install/uninstall. And by the way, the button is labelable, if that is a word, yeah, labelable. And so I could invoke my Talkback menu now that I'm sitting on this button to go add a label and call it install/uninstall. Let's go ahead and label that, shall we? I will now draw a line down with one finger and curve to the right to bring up the Talkback menu so I can find and tap on the add label.
Talkback menu. Add label, 1 of 9, and list 9 items.
We are on add label, and I tap here to add label.
Showing English, US, QWERTY, keyboard.
And I'm going to dictate install/uninstall.
Word. Voice input.
Install/uninstall.
And.
Let's see what I got.
Add label, editing, install/uninstall, edit box, label text.
Now below that install/uninstall, which is the edit field, is an OK button.
OK. Keyboard hidden. Inware. Install/uninstall.
All right, I'll now tap here to install that media DRM.
Inware. Successfully installed, out of list.
I am told that it has been successfully installed. Now, if I put my finger up near the top.
Installed, 1 of 2, and list.
And now under installed, we've got.
Media DRM, 2 of 2.
And.
Install/uninstall, button.
That will uninstall it.
Available, 1 of 2, and list, 2 items.
Now, below the available.
No modules available, 2 of 2.
No modules available because that was the only module that we have available. Now, if I tap on that install/uninstall, of course it will uninstall it, but I'm going to tap on the back button.
Navigation.
Let's see now what the last item here, because this was the 4th item, which is the modules. And now the last item in the list in the settings will be the
Inware, about, contributors, support, and change logs, 5 of 5, and list, 5 items.
And that's the last item. I will now tap on the
bar.
back. I am back in the menu UI, and now let's take a look at maybe a couple items. I want to take a look at the system, for example.
Inware, system. Navigate up, button.
Tapping on system, here's what we've got.
OS, 1 of 20, and list. Android version, Android 10, 2 of 20. Released with, niggles 7.1.1, 3 of 20. Minimum target SDK, 23, 4 of 20. Google Play System Update, the 1st of November 2021 Q, 311121. Language, English. Security patch, October 6th. Build number, QP1A. Build ID, QP. Board, Marlin, 10 of 20. Hardware, Marlin, 11 of 20. Kernel version, 3.8.
And you can go on and on. I'm going to tap on the back button.
Back.
Now let's take a look at
Inware, device, row 1, column 2.
device.
Navigate.
And under device, we've got
Basics, 1 of 5. Brand, Google, 2 of 5. Manufacturer, Google, 3 of 5. Product, Marlin, 4 of 5. Model, Pixel XL, 5 of 5. Display number 1, 1 of 10. And name, built-in screen.
and on it goes. I'm going to go back.
Bar.
Let's scroll down.
Inware, connectivity, row 4, column 1. Battery, column 2.
Let's take a look at battery.
Navigate up, button, out of grid.
And under battery, here's what we've got.
Basics, 1 of 10. And health, good, 2 of 10. Status, discharging, 3 of 10. Level, 47%, 4 of 10. Current, minus 970 mAh, 5 of 10. Power, not charging, 6 of 10. Voltage, 3.777 V, 7 of 10. Capacity, 3,450 mAh. 8. Temperature, 33.0 degrees Celsius, 9 of 10. Technology, Li-ion, 10 of 10.
And that's what we have in the way of the battery.
Navigation bar.
I tapped on the back. And that's how you go about managing or discovering what your system has using Inware. Inware.
Now that's a really useful app, I think, for finding out things about your phone, what processor it's running, all the hardware specs. I think it's a great app. Are there other apps that do that, Warren, or is Inware the main one?
There are other apps that do that, and if you're familiar with the Skit guy, what's his name? Somebody Popov. I don't remember his name. Recon. The guy that has the Skit app, SKIT, he has one that is absolutely beautiful. A little bit more in depth than Inware, but I like Inware's simplistic approach and all of that. But frankly, another good one would be the one from that guy that wrote the Skit app. And if one wants it, I think he's probably selling that thing now for maybe 99 cents, $1. So if you just search for the word Skit, SKIT, and see who the developer is, you click on that developer and you're going to find his app that has to do with that. I think it's called Castro. So if you think of Castro, that's the name of the app. You could just search for Castro, but I think it's probably better off to just search for Skit and then click on the name of the developer of Skit, and therein you'll see Castro as one of his apps.
And if you're lucky, boys and girls, and I don't get too drunk and forget, I might even do the job for you and put it in the show notes. How about that?
There you go. I think I'll find the URL and shoot it out to you so that someone wants.
You don't trust me, do you? You think I'm going to have too many beers? Warren's heard the somewhat questionable offer I just put out, and he said,
"Well, you were throwing in some drinks in there, so I wasn't sure. We could be waiting."
Look, I drive really well when I'm drunk.
Oh my goodness. No, I trust you, bro. You'll get that baby in there.
We shall go hunting for that. But yeah, good to tell you all sorts of information about your phone if you're interested. Those sorts of apps. And now we turn to the Google Assistant, and there have been a few issues flagged on the mailing list in particular of late about the chime disappearing and perhaps the audible feedback from the assistant not being what you want. So Warren is going to show you how to fix both of those things.
And now here's a demonstration of that buggy assistant. The Google Assistant. The Google Assistant is an important part of the Android experience. With the Google Assistant, we could do things like send text messages, check for weather, control home devices, and so forth. Good as the assistant is, sometimes it can be a little bit funky. In other words, there are times that it doesn't behave the way that we would like it to. Prime examples are a couple things that I'm going to be talking about, and that has to do with the chime or the Google Assistant failing to verbalize results for what we just asked. I'll be showing you how these things are and how you can go about fixing those things until Google fixes them, most especially the one that has to do with the chime. The word on the street is that a lot of sighted people don't want to hear the chime, and as a result of that, Google by default turn off the chime. Therefore, for example, a blind person finds it difficult to know when the mic is listening or when it isn't, because of the absence of the chime. I will show you how to go about enabling the chime. I will now invoke my assistant. What's the weather in LA? As you could hear, there was nothing that comes through. However, my results are being displayed on the screen, and that's the second problem that we'll be talking about. If I put my finger down, for example.
Currently, 78 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny, high, 79 degrees low, 49 degrees, precip, 0%.
So we are told that it's currently 78 degrees Fahrenheit in Los Angeles. However, this wasn't verbalized. Now, before we go to fixing that problem, let's go ahead now and fix the problem of making it chime to indicate when it is listening and when the microphone has closed. For that, I'm going to tap on the Google Assistant menu found near the top, just about 2 inches from the top.
Google Assistant menu. Assistant setting.
And by the way, for today's demonstration, I am using the Heather voice from the a cappella group. I am now in the menu of the Google Assistant. What we're looking for here is to scroll down and find an item that says accessibility. I will now scroll down, and that's putting my 2 fingers in the middle of the phone and roll it up, and that scrolls downwards.
Accessibility, support for vision, hearing, motor, and cognitive impairments.
There is our accessibility. I will now tap here.
Assistant settings. Accessibility. Web view, audit list.
I am now in the accessibility settings of the Google Assistant. There are a couple items here. The first one is the one that talks about opening the mic, and the second one talks about closing the mic.
Mic open notification switch. Enlist, item 1 of 0.
And the second one?
Mic close notification switch. Enlist, item 1 of 0.
So, we are told that there's a switch, but we're not told whether it is on or it is off, and that's the bug. In order to turn these things on, it requires that one temporarily disable Talkback. In other words, unload Talkback or suspend Talkback. But before you do that, though, you want to make sure that you know where these things are located on the screen. They are near the top, like past the middle toward the top. And so the first one is there, and then the second one is there. What I'm going to do now is unload my Talkback by holding down the 2 volume keys and then tap around that area, and hopefully I would have turned on the switch. I will now unload Talkback by holding down the 2 volume keys.
Talkback off.
Talkback reports that Talkback is off. I will now put my finger, tap, and then move my finger down and tap. I'll tap again. Now I'm hoping that I probably have them done, so I'm going to bring back Talkback.
Talkback on.
Now I will go ahead and close out of here and ask the assistant. So I'll now navigate home.
Pixel launcher.
I'll double tap on the back of my phone. Weather in Los Angeles. Great. So I managed to enable the chime.
Currently, 78 degrees Fahrenheit.
The next thing that we would like to fix here is the verbalization of my results. In other words, I do not want to touch my screen to find out what the temperature is in Los Angeles. I would rather want it verbalized. And that's what we need to fix. I do, however, want to mention here in passing that in its current state, if my screen were off, in other words, if I have my screen shut off and I use the magic word and ask for that particular question or whatever question it is, my result would be verbalized. But when my screen is on, and whether I tap the back of my phone or use the magic word, The result is not verbalized. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I will now exit out of
Home
Assistant,
screen 4 of 4.
shut off my screen, and use the magic word, hoping that my speaker on the other side of the room is not triggered. Hey Google. Weather in Los Angeles.
It's 78 and sunny. Today, it'll be sunny, with a high of 79 and a low of 49.
There you go. I had to speak softly so my assistant speaker on the other side of the room does not respond to it. Now that we know it works when the screen is shut off, but doesn't work when the screen is on,
Device unlocked.
I now need to find a way of fixing that. And the way we go about fixing that is going back to the assistant menu. I will now invoke the assistant, so I have the assistant pop up on my screen. Weather in New York, New York.
Currently, 38 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, I will now find and tap on that assistant menu near the top right, just below the top part of the screen.
Google Assistant menu. Assistant settings. Edit box. Search settings. Search settings. Audit list.
And by the way, instead of scrolling, if you like, you could simply search for what you are looking for. So in other words, instead of us scrolling down and find what we're looking for, in this case, it's going to be the assistant voice is what we're after. We could simply type the word voice here, and I'm sure it'll pop up the assistant voice from the search result. I will tap here to search for voice.
Back search settings. Edit box.
I will now type in the word voice or simply VO and see the results that we got.
Board. V. Victor. V. P. Pop O. O. Showing items 1 to 6 of 7.
There are 6 items. Let's narrow it down by putting in letter I.
I. Showing items 1 to 6 of 6.
There are 6. How about we narrow it down more?
C. Charlie. C.
Okay, let's see.
Assistant settings. Assistant voice. How your assistant will sound. In list.
That's the one we're after.
Keyboard hidden. Assistant settings. Navigate up. Button. Audit list.
Tapping on the assistant voice, how my assistant will sound,
Might not be available on some of your devices based on your assistant language setting. Speech output.
so we need to scroll toward the bottom of the phone, and what we're looking for here is the last item simply called phone.
Phone. Brief.
We are told phone followed by the word brief. In other words, my responses are supposed to be brief. However, those responses are not verbalized. Therefore, let's go ahead, tap here, and change that over to full. Now, there are times that your device may even be on full, and I've seen it on several of my devices, where the default was full, but for some reason it still will not work. And therefore, in such a case, you need to switch to something like brief or none, and then go back in after you clear out of here, and then come back and go switch it back to full, and then it would work. Let's go ahead and tap here now.
Assistant settings. Navigate up. Button.
So tapping here, we've got 3 radio buttons. We've got none, brief, and full. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Choose how conversational your assistant will be.
I just realized that my TTS engine's a little bit too fast. And now I'm going to use my up-down scrubbing movement with one finger to find the granularity that talks about speech rate.
Characters. Spoken language. Speech rate.
There is my speech rate, and I'll now swipe down with one finger.
Speech rate 90%. Speech rate 82%. Speech rate 75%.
Great. Let's leave it at 75%. Now, back to what I was trying to do.
Choose how conversational your assistant will be.
choose how conversational your assistant would be. And our options are
Full radio button. Not selected. 1 of 3. In list. 3 items. Full.
there is the full or
Brief. Radio button. Selected. 2 of 3. Brief.
and the last one.
None unless hands-free. Radio button. Not selected. 3 of 3. None unless hands-free.
This means that nothing would be spoken unless you have something like a Bluetooth headset or connected to a Bluetooth speaker. In this case, we want to choose the first one, which is full, instead of the brief.
Brief. Full. Radio button. Selected.
I have selected the full. Now, let's go ahead now and exit out of here by navigating our way back home.
Pixel launcher. Fit. Audit list.
I am now back home and my screen is still on. I have not shut my screen off. I will now simply double tap the back of my phone and ask it the same question that I asked earlier. Weather in Los Angeles.
It's 78 and sunny. Today, it'll be sunny, with a high of 79 and a low of 49.
I would love to be out there doing some barbecue instead of the 35 degrees that we have in my area. And that's how you go about fixing those two issues found on the Google Assistant.
What I think is really funny about the Google Assistant is that they do seem to manage to break it occasionally, but however badly they break it, it's still way better than Siri.
And I don't know why Google keeps doing this. One moment it works absolutely beautiful. And the one that I'm still waiting for is the one that has to do with, text messages. You're trying to send a text message. And it used to be that, it will, hey, here's what your text says. Do you want to send it? And, it does do that for me occasionally. But other times, as soon as I finish dictating, it will say message sent. Doesn't even give me that opportunity to review what I got. And so I would love to see that back again or be consistent. But this is something that keeps happening now and then. One moment is there, the next moment is gone. So it's like little kids playing hide and seek somewhere in a cornfield.
Yeah, I can't remember who told me this. It might even have been you. So if I'm telling you something you sent to the list, then I'm sorry. But I heard that one of the way to fix that, and it will work if the screen is either locked or unlocked.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I think now though that with the if one sets it to the full, it should be able to work. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna test something here. Send a text message.
Who do you want to text?
Gary Melkonian.
Sure. What's the message?
Hey, Duckhead, what's going on? This is Warren and sending you a quick message, period.
I got. Headed Duckhead, what's going on? This is Warren and sending you a quick message. Ready to send it?
Change it.
What's the new message?
Hey, Gary. I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to you, period.
I got. Hey, Jerry, I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to you. Ready to send it?
Change it.
What's the new message?
Hello, bro, comma. I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to you, period.
I got. Hello, bro, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to you. Ready to send it?
Send it.
Sending your message.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. When it works absolutely beautifully. And other times when it doesn't, as soon as you finish dictating your message, it says message sent. As you could see, I said the word Gary and it said Jerry. If I didn't have that opportunity to hear it, read it back to me, it would have sent a message to my friend Gary, addressing him as Jerry, and he probably would be thinking that, oh, probably I broke a bottle of vodka or some crazy stuff like that, which I don't even drink. So that's what I'm talking about. So, but I think that problem, though, is something that comes and goes, but probably it's now been fixed for good. I hope it stays that way.
Yeah, I hope it does too. Well, one of the other annoying things I found about it's not just the Google Assistant, to be fair, it's all of them. Does anyone play music using their assistant, like off Spotify or similar services?
I don't subscribe to any musical stuff. I think the only one that I have, of course, is the free YouTube whatever, and I could always ask the assistant to play something from YouTube. But of course, not being a subscriber, would always play something else. But if I do it on the phone, for example, it will play exactly what I'm asking for. But if I ask the Google Home speaker to play something from YouTube, because I'm not a subscriber, it will play some radio relating to that music.
What really annoys me is, like, obviously some songs are performed multiple times, so you might get especially someone like Bob Dylan, they might have recorded it in the 60s, he might have done it live, he might have done it on a later album or a later live session. And so you ask it to play the song and it won't play the version you want, and there doesn't seem to be a ready way to go, yeah, that's the right song, but I don't want that version, go next. Because if you go next, it'll play the next thing it's queued up to recommend, rather than what a phone would do textually, which is play the next in the search results. And I wish they would make that better. Like I said, I don't think it's a Google Assistant thing particularly, but it's a problem of all the AIs. Alexa does it as well, and I just wish they would fix it, or give you a way to say, I do want that track, I just don't want that version of it. And the next thing doing actually what next ought to do in that situation.
How about if you try something like play the studio version or the studio recording of a particular song, instead of just saying, hey, I want you to play Who Goes There or some crazy tune like that.
So what I've sometimes tried to do is append the album name to it. But that tends more often than not just to confuse it, and it might play the entire album rather than do what I want. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe listeners have found a way around this. I haven't particularly asked on any forums. It's just something you sort of accept, and then you get your phone out and you get it to play it on the speaker, because Spotify can cast. So it's like, I can't be bothered to do this anymore.
Yeah, and I can see where they're coming from, though, because if I ask, for example, say, hey, play When You Are Gone by Jim Reeves, for example, and if he has a live recording that he did, for example, it may be that one probably has the most plays on the YouTube, and so it would be that one that would be first to be played.
I don't mind them getting it wrong.
I think that's the reasoning behind that whole mess.
I'm sure. I mean, they don't know which one I want, really. So I'm happy they get it wrong. What I do want to be able to do, though, is go, no, not that one, and have it play something different. And now we conclude with the next in our highlights from Talkback series.
Hi, and a happy Thanksgiving to you if you live here in the United States of America and are celebrating Thanksgiving on this weekend of November the 26th, 2021. As I continue in my theme of highlights from Talkback, I now come to the 15th installment. In our 14th installment, we talked about how to go about editing text using the multi-finger gestures. Today, however, I'll be demonstrating this editing feature using the traditional method. In other words, I'll be using the one single finger to do the editing. To be sure that I'm not doing this on a phone that supports multi-finger gestures, I'd like to mention here in passing that I am doing this on my first generation Pixel, and that's the Pixel XL introduced in 2016 running Android 10. Today's voice is brought to us by the voice of Sophie from the defunct Speak TTS. I am on my home screen now, and I'll navigate my way to the word processing folder and find and launch the keep notes. I will now put my finger down, find and tap on word processing folder.
Folder. Word processing.
I will now double tap to open word processing folder.
Page 1 of 1. Folder opened, 3 by 3.
The next thing I'm looking for is keep notes.
Keep notes. Keep notes. Insert your notes. Edit box.
I am now in my keep notes. At the bottom right corner is the new text note, and that's what I'm looking for. I will now put my finger near the bottom right corner of my phone, find and tap on new text note.
New text note. Button. Note opened. Note. Edit box for note body and list. Showing English, US, QWERTY, keyboard.
Upon tapping on new note, we are directly placed in the body of the note. In other words, it skips the title and places us directly where we could type our note. If you want to put the title, of course, then you have to move above that and type in the title. But right now, the active field is the body of the note. I'm going to be using the voice dictation. In other words, I'm utilizing the voice dictation on the keyboard to dictate a few lines. I will now put my finger down, find and tap on the voice input. Here I go.
Voice input.
Hello, and thanks to listening to the Blind Android Users podcast, period. New paragraph. I would like to thank you all for taking your time to listen to us on this beautiful weekend of Thanksgiving here in the United States of America, period. Again, we appreciate you for listening to us, period.
Sticker keyboard.
I finished my dictation, double tap to stop the voice dictation. In other words, I double tap to close the microphone from listening. I will now put my finger down to see if I have what I dictated captured, and if not, if there are any errors, then we'll need to correct, and that's where the editing will come in. I will now put my finger down.
Keep notes. Editing. Hello and thanks to listening to the Blind Android Users podcast. I would like to thank you all for taking your time to listen to us on this beautiful weekend with Thanksgiving here in the United States of America. Again, we appreciate you for listening to us. Edit box, note for note body, and list.
And there is my dictation. Now, for example, if I want to change the word hello to, say, the word hi, for example, what I would like to do before I invoke the editing feature or the selection mode or whatever and all of that, I would like to first navigate to where that word is. So I will now navigate by either paragraph or by line. I do not want to navigate word by word because that's going to take a long time to get to the word hello. So I will now put my finger down and do the gesture for switching granularity. This is what I call the scrubbing movement. In other words, I'll put my finger down and swipe up and down in one fluid movement to switch through or circle through the granularities. For example, if I put my finger down and scrub up and down,
accessibility volume.
Doing that says accessibility volume. I'll do that up-down scrub again. I will keep that up-down scrubbing movement till I hear it says paragraphs or lines. So here I go.
Scroll. Speech rate. Windows. Links. Controls. Headings. Paragraphs.
And there is my paragraph. I will leave it on paragraphs, and now, instead of doing an up and down scrubbing movement, I will simply swipe up with one finger to go from paragraph to paragraph. Here I go.
I would like to thank you all for taking your time to listen to us on this beautiful weekend with Thanksgiving here in the United States of America. Again, we appreciate you for listening to us.
I will swipe again because that is not the paragraph that has the word hello.
Hello and thanks to listening to the Blind Android Users Podcast. Beginning of field.
I am told that I am at the beginning of the field of this paragraph. What I will do now, though, is switch my granularity to the word granularity. And again, using that up-down scrubbing movement, I will do that one finger up and down scrubbing movement.
Lines.
I did that and it says lines, and I wanted words. So I'll do it one more time.
Words.
I am on the granularity of words. I will now swipe down with one finger because I am now at the beginning of the word hello. I'll swipe down and you'll see what I mean.
Hello.
Swiping down with one finger says the word hello, and that means that my cursor is behind the letter O in the word hello. To prove that, I will switch to the character granularity by doing an up-down scrubbing movement to place me in the character mode. And I'll swipe up with one finger and you'll hear letter O. Here I go.
Characters.
Now swipe up with one finger.
O. Oscar.
There's letter O. Now I'm going to go swipe back down again.
O. Oscar.
So I am at the end of that word hello. Now, we could either just hit the space bar here and delete one character at a time till we have deleted letter E, or we could simply go into the editing mode and go choose the selection mode. And the latter is what I'm going to do. I will now swipe down and curve to the right with one finger to activate the Talkback menu. And by the way, whether you're using a modern phone like the Pixel 6 or using an older device like the Pixel 1 that I'm using, that drawing of a line and curving to the right still works in invoking Talkback menu. I will now swipe down with one finger and curve to the right to invoke the Talkback menu.
Talkback menu. Editing options, 1 of 9, and list, 9 items.
Swiping down and curving to the right tells me I am sitting on editing options, and that's exactly what we want. I will now tap anywhere on the face of the phone to activate that menu that says editing options. Upon tapping on that editing options, we have items that pop up. And here are the items that we find as a result of that.
Editing options. Move cursor to beginning, 1 of 4, and list, 4 items.
We have moved cursor to the beginning, so in other words, if I did not move to the beginning of this node that I had, I could simply have tapped on this and moved me to the beginning. Or if I want to move to the end of the document, I could choose the next item.
Move cursor to end, 2 of 4.
Move cursor to end. The next item here is
Select all, 3 of 4. Select all.
I could tap on the select all if I wanted to highlight everything that I have dictated so far and want to simply select all and then hit the delete key to get rid of it. Or in this case, what I'm looking for is the one that says Start Selection Mode. And so I'll now move my finger down and get to the last item here, which is Selection Mode.
Start or end selection mode, 4 of 4.
We have the Start or End Selection Mode. In other words, tapping on this will activate the selection mode. And if I were in a selection mode and I come back here to the Talkback menu and tap on the editing options again, I could tap here to end the selection mode if the selection mode were already active. Now that it's not active, I will tap here to activate that selection mode.
Editing, selection mode on. Hello and thanks to listening to the blind.
So we're told that selection mode is now active. So here I could switch to whatever granularity that I want to move by. Either I want to move my selection by character or move my selection by word, for example. It is totally up to me. So now I'm going to switch to the word granularity.
Words.
So I'm now on words. If I swipe up with one finger,
Hello, selected.
I am told that the word hello is selected. And here I could either copy, cut, delete, or whatever I want to do with it. For example, let's say I want to copy this word hello or cut it and put it at the end of my dictation, that is, at the end of what I dictated. What we will need to do here, however, is invoke the Talkback menu again by swiping down and curving to the right, which I'm going to do right now.
Talkback menu. Actions. 1 of 10.
Upon doing the swipe down and curving to the right, we are now in the Talkback menu. And as you can hear, we have an additional item here. This time is called Actions. But along with Actions, we have other items.
Editing options. 2 of 10.
Editing options.
Editing options.
Now, the actions is not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is the editing options. Tapping on the actions would simply take us to things like share, translate, and all of that, or read with some other app. But that's not what we want. We want the item that says editing options.
Actions.
So I will now tab on editing options.
Editing options. 2 of editing. Hello and
Tapping on editing options, here are the items that we find.
editing options. Out of list. Move cursor to beginning. Move cursor to end. Cut. 3 of 6. Copy. 4 of 6. Select all. 5 of 6. End selection mode. 6 of 6.
Those are the
Selection
items that we have when we tap on editing options. I would like to cut the word hello.
Select all. Copy. Cut. 3 of 6.
Tap here to cut.
Cut. Hello. Editing and
And we hear that in a different voice say that we cut the word hello. And I am now back on the main body of the note. If I put my finger down,
editing and thanks to listening to the Blind Android Users podcast.
as you can hear, the word hello is gone, and all we have left is, and thanks to listening to the Blind Android Users podcast. Now I'm going to go to the end of my dictation. In other words, I'm going to navigate my way to the end of this dictation, that is the body of the message. And I could either use my granularity and move either by paragraph to go to the end of the document, or go back into the Talkback menu and tap on Move Cursor to End. I think I'm doing the latter. So I'll swipe down, curve to the right, bring up the Talkback menu, tap on Editing, and tap on Move Cursor to End.
Talkback menu.
Now I'm going to tap on Editing.
Editing
And now I'm going to tap on Move Cursor to End.
Move cursor to end. 2 of 5.
And that's
Move
what I
cursor
want.
to end. Editing and thanks to listen.
Now I am at the end of my document. And now I could either long press anywhere here and tap on Paste, or I could invoke the Talkback menu and go tap on Paste. Let's try the latter.
Talkback menu.
We'll tap on Editing again.
Editing options. 1 of 9. Editing.
And we're going to find the Paste.
Move cursor. Paste. 3 of 5.
Paste.
Pasted. Hello. Editing.
All right, now I'm going to put my finger down and see if it can read for me the whole entire dictation.
Editing, and thanks to listening to the Blind Android Users podcast. I would like to thank you all for taking your time to listen to us on this beautiful weekend with Thanksgiving here in the United States of America. Again, we appreciate you for listening to us. Hello, edit box, note for note body.
There was my hello at the end of my dictation, and there's a period between the word hello and the last word that we had prior to appending the word hello. That is how you go about editing using the traditional method if your phone does not have the multi-finger gestures.
So, Warren, I heard a casting rumor this week. Can you confirm that you are going to be guest starring in Mariam's commentary series and recording a few CSR episodes for us? That's what they were saying in Hollywood News and Vogue this week.
I wish I could. Miriam is my friend, and I mean, we don't see eye to eye when it comes to CSR. But then, of course, she's doing a phenomenal job, and I don't think I'm qualified enough to even take that role. So I'll leave it to Austin, since he's the evangelist for CSR, and he could be sitting in for Miriam whenever Miriam is not able to do one of our CSR series. Austin can easily slide in there and do that CSR demonstration or whatever that needs to be done. How about that?
So you deny the casting rumours then? I have no idea if Hollywood News actually exists. I know Vogue does. I can imagine Warren in the pages of Vogue. Hopefully Hollywood News does exist.
Oh my gosh, I don't think so.
Well, according to TMZ,
Yeah.
Oh my
you know
God.
it's real. If Warren shows up in TMZ, then you know it's real.
Or ain'titcoolnews.com. That was always the film site that we were looking at in our university days.
No. No, I think we'll put Austin in there. He is he's the evangelist for the CSR. And Austin, what's up with that?
I think so. Let Miriam only do that series. I am not qualified to do that series.
Yeah, but you've been evangelizing over it. I evangelize over Android or Talkback, and I can do whatever it takes, because don't just do the talk. you need to walk the talk.
Well, I looked at CSR again this week, and one thing I'm surprised that people don't talk about more is how annoying by default the typing experience is. So I'm typing a word, and if you have the key echo on, it won't say, if you're typing hello, it won't say HELLO and then confirm when you hit space. It goes H, he, hell, hello. And imagine how distracting that would be if you're trying to type anti-disestablishmentarianism or something a bit longer than hello. And what I had to go and do, and it was on, I should have done it anyway, really, because I don't like them, is I had to go and kill all the suggestion and prediction settings on my keyboard. So turn off the suggestion bar, stop it trying to identify a misspelt word, and just turn all of that absolutely off. So there's no autocorrect, auto-formatting going on at all. And then CSR behaves itself. But for people who quite like those suggestion bars, that must be kind of annoying.
But you notice what happens is that everything that Talkback doesn't do right gets amplified, but people tend to put things under the rug, ugly stuff about CSR. You never hear those things, because I tell you, that would be so annoying more than heck. And
it was really annoying. But I'll go to the group, like the Telegram group for CSR. It's like, does anyone notice this? Yeah, that happens. I'm like, well, isn't anyone bothered? Like,
no, because it's not Talkback, and they would not talk about it, because that's the ugly underbelly part of the CSR.
I go, oi, Lee, sort it out. It's really annoying.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's a little bit of both, but I was able to strangle it, and I posted the fix. But obviously you need to work out. I did it for Gboard. If you're using something else, you need to work out how to.
But I do want to hear my predictions, so I'm not typing every freaking thing out. You know what I mean? I don't type. When I'm typing on my phone, frankly, I don't complete a lot of the spellings, because it says what it is, and I simply hit the space bar to confirm.
Yeah. See, I don't like the predictions anyway, and I was surprised there were bits of it I'd left turned on. So I turned off the suggestion bar, but it still had the sort of the next word and suggesty auto-correcty thing on. So I went in and strangled those. So yeah, it fixed it. But like you say, if you like the predictions, then that's going to be seriously painful. That, folks, is it for this week. Austin, how can people get in touch with us?
So people can get in touch with us by visiting us on the website blindandroidusers.com. They can send in their questions by filling in the feedback form on the website, or by emailing us, contact us at blindandroidusers.com. subscribe to our mailing list, Blind Android Users Plus, subscribe at groups.io. The links for Telegram, Twitter, Clubhouse, and the YouTube channel is in the show notes. So you can go there and check them out. That is it from us for episode 51.
And do please write to us, by the way, if you want to be in our anniversary 1 year session. When's that? Is it the 18th?
18 December.
Yeah. So write to us at contact us at blindandroidusers.com. I think we've also got a form, but either way, it was a cracking session last week. You can catch up with it on the podcast if you didn't join us live, but do join us live for that it's a Saturday before Christmas, so you don't want to bother doing Christmas shopping. You want to hang out with us. Christmas shopping on the 18th of December is a little bit early. You should leave it at least until the afternoon of the 24th. That's the time you want to be picking Christmas presents for your significant other.
And I want to join Ed in thanking you guys. This is something we should have mentioned earlier, but thank you so much for participating in our 50th episode celebration, and absolutely looking forward to seeing you guys participating with us, most especially in our 1 year anniversary, which is going to be a very important one. And again, send us email if you want to be part of that celebration to contact us at blindandroidusers.com.
The registration form for the 18th will be live later this week.
Great.
Okay, brilliant. So email us in the meantime if you wanna sign up, or wait. As Doug says, wait later in the week and you can fill out the form. That's it for this week, folks. See you all next week.
Bye, friends. And that has been another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. As always, we appreciate hearing from you. You send those email messages to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. For those My Android Journey stories, we encourage you to send those to myandroidjourney at blindandroidusers.com. Until we see you in our next episode, you have a wonderful day.